Hi guys, ArchieLuxury on the Paul Pluter channel, and today guys I want to talk about collectibles as an investment. And when I'm talking about collectibles, it's because I've got a huge following of Rolex, a huge following of wristwatch collectors, and I was interesting to hear what Dave Ramsey says about this. And I gotta tell you the truth. I was a bit cynical. I thought Dave Ramsey would barf the idea of collectibles. He's actually said that one of the worst investments he ever made was his wristwatch, which is very disappointing, Dave. I gotta be completely honest with you, Dave. I am very disappointed with that. Probably you bought retail, didn't buy the right brand. You know, this is kind of what happens there. But getting onto collectibles, and Dave Ramsey, I must tell you, I'm going to link his video, Dave Ramsey's video, I'll put it into the, if you click on the little question mark there, that'll drop down some videos you can watch. And I'll see if I can find the video where Dave Ramsey says the worst thing he ever bought was his wristwatch. But basically, on the collectible front, Dave Ramsey was saying, actually, for normal people, collectibles aren't a great asset class. You're going to do a lot better buying mutual funds, Roth IRAs, etc., etc. However, Dave Ramsey did mention, as this guy rang up and said he's got a $200,000 comic book collection. Dave Ramsey actually mentioned some excellent points. He said, you are really an expert in comic books, and you really know this topic. So someone like yourself, the knowledge you have is actually very valuable. It's part of your collection. And the only danger is, of course, is if you die, when you die, the people, your heirs who inherit this, won't really know what's valuable, what's not valuable. They won't really know how to sell it. And Dave Ramsey goes on further to talk about a friend of his who has an amazing car collection, a car collection worth over $1 million. And Dave Ramsey goes on to say, well, this guy's a multi-million, I think he's a deca-millionaire. He's worth, actually even more than that. He's worth 100, whatever he's worth. And this guy really does know what he's doing. He can buy and sell cars, trade in, trade out. And that's quite an interesting, it's quite an interesting philosophy. And I've got to tell you honestly, I think there's a lot to be said for Dave Ramsey. I think Dave Ramsey's advice, I think his advice, well, I'm in Australia, the laws are slightly different, things are slightly different, but there's a lot of things that have some crossover. One thing Dave Ramsey says is, he said you should try and pay cash, don't borrow. And I agree with him, but in the same token, sometimes to build wealth, one of the great accelerators is leverage. There's no way you can acquire these expensive assets without borrowing, particularly in Australia, where an average house is $500,000. So you can't possibly ever save that in a high tax country like Australia. The thing is, of course, is that Dave Ramsey does say some valid points. He makes the Dave Ramsey also talks about himself being a huge gun collector, a pistol. Well, you know, guns are very big in America, and he says, you know, his collection is worth. He actually says it's worth over 200,000, and I get it, and I suppose the thing is, I'm not a gun person ourselves. We live in a nanny state in Australia. You're not allowed to have a fucking air rifle. You need a license, and see, guns have never really been big in my life. Actually, I do have a few bullet cartridges, however. Yes, bit of target practice. Security by Smith & Wesson. I gotta be completely honest with you. Dave Ramsey says, look, the big danger in collectibles is when you leave, does your estate know how to sell these off? It's all very well, you have all this knowledge, but how do you get get your, how does your heirs get your money back? And I must admit, I totally agree with what he says there. You know, you've got catalogs, brochures. I've paid for certain Patek catalogs. I've paid like $50, whereas other ones were free and they're not worth as much, or not worth anything. Some of the catalogs I've got, like Breitling, well, I suppose they're worth something. But you know what I'm saying? It's that these things here, their knowledge is very valuable. Whereas I can look at something and say, yep, valuable, not valuable, valuable, not valuable, valuable. You know, I just pick it. I suppose what you've got to do is, I think in collectibles itself there, you can do really well. You can do really well. You've got to sort of, I mean, no one knows how long we're going to live for. If we knew how long we were going to live for, we could plan accordingly. Of course, we don't. But I suppose in my own case, I would like to consolidate my collection, which is what I did last year. I got out of a lot of pieces and went into some very expensive Patek Philippe's, which is what I've always liked. I've always loved Patek Philippe's. And I suppose down the track, when I get older, I will probably sell some of those off. I will keep a few that I want to leave as an inheritance, but some of them I will probably get out of, cash out of, and use that money in my retirement. So I think in many ways there, you've got to plan things there. This is a classic example. My good friend, the Suckerhorn, he's got a very valuable stamp collection. And I don't want to say anything rude, but I said to Suckerhorn, if I were you, he's had a bit of a health scare a year or so ago, but it turned out to be a nothing. But I said, Suckerhorn, why don't you sell those very valuable ones off? Because your heirs have no idea what is valuable, what's not valuable, and they'll end up in a fucking skip. I said, you're really better off, Suckerhorn, with his stamp collection. Get out of it, unless you're going to leave detailed notes and educate the heirs as to what's valuable and what's not. I think it makes a lot of sense. If you've got a number of collections, get out before you depart. And in my case, I may go for a bit of consolidation. I want to actually minimize, be a minimalist. I want to be a minimalist, and I say that. You have a look at my room here. I mean, this is I don't know whether. Is that right, Archie? You want to be a minimalist? Well, start up with a fucking cleanup, Archie boy. Yes. I mean, I'm not even throwing away this Scotch bottle because, hey, when am I going to get a 21-year-old Scotch again? You know, I thought, I'll just keep that for a little bit. You know what I'm saying, don't you? But Dave Ramsey raises many good points there. Collectibles, if you are an expert, you can do very well out of it. However, just remember, as Dave says there, when you die, the collection's never going to be worth as much as you could get for it, because the people who are inheriting it, they may want to liquidate, they may not be experts, and let's be honest there, a lot of collectors are sharks. They're sharks. They will lowball you, and you know, whenever I was buying, it was always the wrong one. It's the wrong one. You don't have this. Conditions. No matter how good it was always not. It was always, it's not as good as I've seen. You're always fucking, yeah, that's how it is. That is how it is. This is reality. If you don't have a bit of a nous like that there, you don't get ahead. It's dog eat dog. This is it. This is it. So we can survive. So I think collectibles itself, you can do really well. I suppose in my own life, I'd like to consolidate a bit, get rid of some of the lesser collectibles, some of the tangent collectibles, and I would really like to, with the watches, I'll probably get out of a few when I'm not even 50, but I'm probably in my 60s. I'd like to get rid of a bit, and then I would gear up for, you know, a bit of more of a minimalist lifestyle, because travel is a huge part of my life that I want to fulfill. But it's very interesting to see what Dave Ramsey, who I actually quite respect, see what he says about collectibles. He's giving some advice. So watch the vid and tell me what you think. Can you do okay with collectibles? I think the key ingredients are, number one, you want to, if you are an expert, you can do very well with it. You've got to have a bit of cunt in you to be able to buy and sell properly. You've got to be able to know your mark. You got to buy cheap, sell high. Number two, you want to try and realize this collection before you depart. That would be very preferable, because only you could get the top dollar for it. And the third thing is, you want to try, and if you're going to leave things to heirs, you need to educate them and tell them, hey, I'm going to leave you this. Here are the box papers, because I keep my papers in the bank safe. You want to tell them, hey, the papers make a lot of difference for the value. Hey, the papers are in the bank safe. This is where they are, because without that, you know, it's thousands of dollars the papers are worth. So I don't want them lost. That's why they're in the bank safe. But in the same token, they've got to go with the watch to give it premium prices. So there's a number of lessons to be learned. I'm interested in hearing back from you. Comments down below, good, bad, ugly. Put some comments below. Tell me what you think. I'm ArchieLuxury. Tell me what you think of collectibles as an investment. Hi guys, ArchieLuxury. And who do I recommend in America? In America, who do I recommend for quality pre-owned wristwatches? David SW, David SW, David SW. Go to davidsw.com. He is the best, the greatest pre-owned dealer in all of the United States of America. David SW, David SW, David SW. I want to promote KK Design, which is a San Diego-based interior designer who specializes in full-service residential and boutique-style commercial spaces from start to finish. Reach her and check out her work at www.katek.design. Kate K all the way. I want to introduce a new company. This is Fame City Property Solutions. That's correct. They're located in Northeast Ohio. And Fame City Property Solutions replaces non-efficient lights with energy-saving LED lighting. Now, I got to tell you, the guys at Fame City, they will install energy-saving LED lights at office buildings, commercial warehouses, home improvement stores, grocery stores, schools, parking lots, and other residential homes. Now, you can email these guys at famecitypropertysolutions@gmail.com. That's all one word there. famecitypropertysolutions@gmail.com.
Please don't talk about me when I'm gone. Oh, honey, though our friendship ceases from now on. talk at all is my advice.